when people weren't doing a lot of real horror comics. So to do this thing for Marvel was like frightening for some people. The other story I have, very quickly, my editor on Hellstorm Prince of Bloods was Fabian Nicieza, who at the time was not only an editor at Marvel, but writing like half of their line. And excuse me. That was tough to write. It was tough to write this thing for Marvel because they kept fighting them every step of the way. And I actually forgot what the story was going to be, so I'm going to fake it right now.
Did a parchment cover the first issue?
Yes. Yes, it did. Thank you.
Freaking love that book, man.
The real horror for writing for Marvel was working in the Marvel style, where you do the plot first, and they give you the art, and the art has nothing to do with the plot that he gave them, so you gotta write everything. You know why Wolverine tells you what his power is every issue? Is because the writer sends the plot in, and then the artist completely changes the story, so the writer's gotta get something back, so they tell you what's going on. Anyway,
that's the real horror.
That's the real horror.
Yeah, I think Raph has a, because I don't know if you had written for Marvel before, but yeah, especially in that time period, is you know, you're messing with Marvel's characters. You know, I really haven't had any experiences. I mean, you get some odd things like you really think zombies walking. I think I was saying to this to put in my class, but you know, I don't really have problems because you know I think when you do create your own books, people say, okay, that's what you do, but you start messing with Marvel's characters or DC's characters. But now we've messed with them so often, I don't think that's an issue in the last 5 or 6 years.
I know, I want to work for them now because they can do cool things for them, and they won't let me. Just because they screwed. I know. I remember the story now. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for stalling. Issues 4 and 5 of Hellstorm were supposed to feature guest star Ghost Rider. That's what we did. Issues 4 and 5 of any series, you get a guest stars because your sales suck and you need somebody to bump up the sales. Fabian was editing Hellstorm. I think Bobby Chase was the editor of every other horror title at Marvel. And she would not let me play with Ghost Rider. She told Fabian, no, I don't want Ghost Rider to get started in Hellstorm. And he said, why? She said, because it's different. It's not like the other books. So Fabian and I had to create an entirely new character called Soulfire or something. And he was a guy who was a demon who drove or rode a motorcycle. No resemblance to Ghost Rider at all. And it was weird. It was like I was flummoxed by this. Like, why wouldn't you let me play with this Ghost? I didn't want to write Ghost Rider anyway, but I took that as a badge of honor. That my book was too scary for Marvel.
I would just like to say that the 13-year-old Dirk Manning is like relishing in this moment because now things make sense. So thank you for. I was reading the parchment cover of Hellstorm #1 and things like that, and reading that series.
It was me, Dirk. I'm glad you bought that.
Thank you, sir. Because now my life makes sense. I'm geeking out too. So.
That was a good question. Colin or Dirk, anything that stood out to you as a horror story from the show?
No, I don't think I've had any really weird horror stories. I mean,
You will?
I think the most freaked out I get is when people in costume come up in character. That freaks me out a little bit because I don't know how to deal with them. That's.
You want me to think you're really the Joker?
No, but yesterday a guy in I've seen a lot of Captain Jack Sparrows, and they're really good at acting like Captain Jack Sparrow, and I'm always nervous of selling them a book because I have to sell Captain Jack Sparrow a book. But yesterday a guy in a Jason Voorhees costume came up, and he was in character the entire time. He said nothing. He just menaced at me, and I was like, "This is my book, Jason." and he did give me a thumbs up at the end. But that was the most he broke character. So if that was one of you guys, good job.
Agreed. Yeah, that Jason was freaky. My scary story, and it's very, very short because I'm just going to get right to the punchline, was I was staying with another artist I work with. With them, we worked with like 25, 30 different artists throughout the series. And so I'm not, I would say that, so I'm not giving away the identity of the person I was with. There's like 1 in 30 guests. We're staying at we're going to a convention, And this person was in charge of booking the hotel, and what ended up happening was didn't book the Friday night or something like that. So we had no place to stay. We were way out of town. We had no place to stay. And this is in the age of the interweb. And basically we had to kind of like solicit, like, does anyone know, does anyone have extra like floor we can just, sleep on? There's glamorous comic book creators, can you sleep on your floor, please? And someone said, yeah, Dirk Manning, you sleep on our floor, and artists, you can sleep on our floor. That was cool, took them out to dinner and thank them and stuff like that. And it was two girls that were just absolutely just enamored with what was happening, and cool, whatever. And luckily I had a sleeping bag in my trunk, so, go to the hotel room, sleep in my sleeping bag, whatever. I started getting like these weird hibbly-jibbly feelings. So I actually slept under the coffee table, sealed up like in a cocoon in my sleeping bag, because I just was like, I don't like this. Well, I woke up the next morning to see this woman who liked my work and felt that she knew me so well because she read my work, laying on the floor next to me, just staring puppy dog-eyed, and I'm like, open my eyes, and I just see her laying there, lying next to me, just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and the first words out of her mouth were, "It was so nice to watch you sleep." Unfriended. Blocked.
My cousin wants to know why you've never called her back.
Ask her why I woke up and my ass was bleeding like a sieve.
Well, that was my other cousin.
Oh, by the way, this is the scariest moment I've had.
Anybody else have a question?
You're probably afraid now.
Hi, I'm in a horror theater company, and we are trying to market to, get people who don't know about theater to come see theater, which, there's a huge market for horror films. I imagine that you probably have the same problem trying to get horror film watchers to read comics. Do you have that encounter? Like, what do you do to market comic books to horror film and TV fans that don't know comic books are out there?
What
How do you
theater
convince
company
them
are
to
you
read them? I'm sorry, what?
What theater company?
It's called Wild Claw Theater.
Wild Claw Theater is one of the greatest theater troupes in existence because they do horror. They've got, is Camille still in?
Yeah, it just closed.
Okay. Last year, or I think it was last year, they did a play based on Legion by Willard Peter Blatty, and it was excellent. And forget comics for just a second. Support horror in all its facets. I just think I think it's cool. I think I love this theater company. I think they're incredible. But to answer the question, you're all taking notes, right? You're all going to go watch their stuff. I use Facebook and I say, hey, I'm a fun guy. Check me out. I need coffee this morning. And people respond and go, by the way, I read this horror book and you should check it out. Any kind of genre, any kind of medium. I mean, why are we all here? We all love comics to one extent or another, right? Why are you all in this room? You all love some aspect of horror, or you're still waiting for that next panel to start. Talk to each other and support each other and do what I just did. If you like something, tell other people about it. Because that's the only way they're going to know. If horror comics is only 10% of the market, we got a long road to go to become a little bit more legitimate. And with all due respect to Marvel Zombies and that brilliant Iron Fist, they call it. I want my horror straight up, thank you very much. And I don't want to do a superhero horror comic. One, because I can't write superheroes. I do not have that facility. You, sir, are brilliant. I want to scare people, and I want other people to know that I can scare people. And I want those people to tell their friends that I can scare people.
I think